Hi, everyone. We are here at Bay headquarters. I'm Alicia.
Devin.
And we know almost all of you. So thank you, everyone, so much for being here. This is so exciting. We are humbled by the outpouring of love and support that you have shown us in just the 12 short hours, not even, that we have been available for sale. So thank you so much. We're so excited to start this journey, and we're raising a cup of coffee to all of you. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is also our anniversary, so we are celebrating with all of you and starting these new beginnings. So without further ado, why don't we chat, Devin, a little bit about what we have got brewing this evening?
Well, what we are tasting this evening is a French press of our Cave Creek blend.
Yes, it is. Unexpectedly, I think I'm surprised by how much I love it, because definitely a new favorite. But also, I mean, we can be candid, right? You're not supposed to pick your favorite product or whatever, but we definitely have our favorites. And I didn't think that Cave Creek was going to be mine at all. I'm not a dark roast fan. We didn't really set out to have,
No,
dark
it really, in fact, it was the opposite of what I expected vision-wise to be. We found something kind of special with it, though. So yeah, I don't know. Such is life.
Such is life. So a dark roast favorite from two people who were not seeking out dark roast to be their favorites. I'm not sure if you can take our word as anything sort of neutral, but you can take our word for it. So amazing. We wanted to start by kind of saying a thank you to everyone who is here. Maybe some of you found us on your own or know us personally. Maybe some of you were referred to us by a friend. So if we want to have our first contest giveaway, because we did promise some freebies and prizes throughout this event. So we're going to have our first contest, oh, that's reversed, I just realized. Well, it's the name drop contest. So this is contest number 1. Love technology. So contest number 1, the name drop contest. What you're going to do is in the live chat, just to the right here, you are going to write in either your name, if you brought yourself here tonight, or the name of someone who referred you.
You have to write it in reverse, though.
You do not have to write it in reverse. The person who referred you to come here and join us and join Bay. So we're going to be talking through some of our coffees throughout the whole next section. Feel free to drop that name in there. I'm actually going to start it off by just typing name drop in there. So all the comments that come up under that, we will take into consideration as the enters to this contest. And the person we'll randomly select, a Bay fan, to win either a sample box of our 3 roasts or a 5-day rush hour DIY cold brew kit. So you can pick whichever one you like if you are the winner. And so yeah, keep dropping in those comments. I see some going in already. Thank you, Carol. Thank you, Jane. Keep it coming. And as you guys are entering, we are going to go ahead and talk through actually some of the brews that you guys may have purchased or that you may have a chance to win tonight. So first up, I think we're going to go in order of roast profile.
Yeah, indeed.
Why don't we start off with the Boscobel? This is going to be our lighter roast, or what we're calling a bright roast, to kind of make the name more referential to the sensation as opposed to kind of what it may have felt like in the past, or what it would have referred to in the past. So walk us through our Boscobel, Dev.
So yeah, the Boscobel is a single origin Mexican, which it's when you cup of coffee that is like you do with a group of coffees at the same time, and it was the one that really stood out to us as being most advantageous to really. It had these nice citrus notes, these really mellow sweetness that if we were to, what we initially set out really looking to roast, really light roast coffees, this more almost like Swiss sort of version of what you're looking at, but ultimately what we found is that there's something really great about this middle area, this development in the Maillard time, this sweetness that you can develop within the bean that, I don't know, it's a learning process, and it's one of the most beautiful things about it is that you go in with certain expectations and then you're kind of fundamentally stunned by what you're doing, and it changes your expectations, and then you become what you are because of it. So yeah, thus is the Boscobel. It is a coffee that we initially set out to roast at a very, very light level, and we did. We then transitioned to a Guatemalan bean because of the sourcing issue initially. And what happened was we roasted with the same profile and were met with a coffee that was not
too light.
Green,
it was almost grassy.
Green apple, but like the apple skin, and for, learning from that we needed to roast it slightly longer through a certain point and develop that sweetness. So that's really kind of what the Boscobel roasting goals were, and we, I think, nailed it because of both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah. So roasting initially with the Mexican beans, then learning through Guatemalan. Everything is a trial and error process, kind of like Deb was alluding to, and having to make minor adjustments for the Guatemalan beans. That when we actually had the Mexican beans back that we wanted to use originally, we kind of made the best of both of those roast profiles to create this really beautiful single origin. It's got notes of lime zest, really gorgeous Rainier cherry. So not, dark red cherries, not those bright reds, but those ones that are almost like yellow and red together. Such a unique flavor. And it really kind of blew us away that we were able to, through all of this, trial and error, able to get there. So we're so excited about that. Any traditional kind of light roast people or people who tend to prefer light roast coffee, this is definitely the one for you.
Or if you're into like a more single origin, unique boutique blend rather than a boutique blend, that would be the direction you should go. So yeah.
Next up is our Taylor's Island. So this is going to be our moderate roast, perfect for.
One thing we need to tell you about Boscobel is it's just because today is our anniversary. So we we went to Boscobel. Or near Boscobel rather.
Nope,
in Boscobel.
Yep.
Well, there's a farm. It's called the Life O'Reilly Farms in Boscobel, Wisconsin, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's right at the confluence of the the Mississippi and Wisconsin rivers.
That I don't.
I believe it is. Indeed. Sorry. Yeah. No.
You're good.
We stayed there at this little cute farmhouse on our first anniversary, and that is why we named that roast. I feel like that's significant.
It is,
especially today.
So cheers to that.
Cheers
to Boscobel. We should be drinking it, but alas, we are not. A great tangent too is that all of our roasts are named after special places. For us, when we started talking about getting into this, coffee thing, even though neither of us had ever roasted coffee before, I wasn't a coffee drinker before, but it was kind of all about the experience, and not only the experience of the coffee, but the experience kind of around the whole ritual of it. So who you're with and where you are. And so instead of, taking another naming convention or anything like that, we decided to go with beautiful places we've had beautiful coffee and beautiful experiences. So with that as a note, onto Taylor's Island.
On to Taylor's Island, on the eastern shore of Maryland.
Our moderate roast, which is a combination blend of Costa Rican beans and Colombian. Devin did an amazing job kind of marrying the two really beautifully here, so I'll let him talk about the roasting process for that a little bit.
Yeah, so on the Taylor's Island, we developed the roast a little further. We took it to originally about 418, and we got a lot of pop, which is great. But that second time around, we roasted to 420 as its drop temp, and it was amazingly. It completely like balanced it out. And I feel like what we're learning here is that achieving balance is most crucial in all of this. And I really, Mom used to say to me that life is too short for bad coffee. And Taylor's Island is just this perfect example of something that is like so ubiquitous. Like it works really well as anything, as a drip, as a as a cold brew, as a French press. It's amazing. Yeah, it's a really great coffee. And it's sort of what unlocked the door for us diving in deeper, quite literally, and going for darker roast and going to achieve something next, because we realized just what the beans' potential were. And again, sort of looking at each individual bean is why we gravitated towards this things that could take a little more heat and would develop better and sweeter, and
yeah, absolutely
nailing those chocolate notes.
Yes, it's got gorgeous baker's chocolate notes, even some hints of kind of like a jammy berry, almost like a blackberry, were the tasting notes we picked up on that. So
whereas that lower temperature one was more of like a pomegranate, and it was like a significantly more acidic. So it's interesting how these minor tweaks can really
make it. It's all about taking those notes and taking the time and progress to learn. We're all always learning, especially in this crazy time that we're in, and so why not dive in with both feet to something crazy and new, which is kind of how it feels every time we go roast, to be totally honest. So then with that in mind, diving even deeper into our deep roast, or our dark roast traditionally, although we feel that the word like that dark has connotations of being burnt or of being bitter, and in our experiences, at least, and several people that we've talked to, it is either what they expect coffee to taste like, is like to have that little kick, that little bite, that little cringe, or that somehow you assume that it might be like more caffeinated, heavier, get you awake faster in the morning, whereas that's not necessarily the case. So that's why we're kind of changing up the language behind it. So our deep roast with those deep, gorgeous flavors is what we're drinking, as we alluded to before.
Hi,
it's
Grandma.
our Cave Creek. Hi, Grandma. Hi, everybody. I see everyone writing in. It's our Cave Creek blend. And this one is going to be a blend of a really gorgeous kind of specialty Costa Rican blend that Devin will go into in a second, along with Papua New Guinea bean as well.
Right. So the Cave Creek is it's a farmer's project out of Costa Rica. So it's not just one variety of bean. It's sourcing of many different varieties of beans, but they're all in the same. They're all coming from a bunch of farmers, are basically producing the same product, but in different areas, and then selling it together. So they benefit. So ultimately, that's kind of why I went with it first. And secondarily, we have a Papua New Guinea, which on its own, quite frankly, is just not a palatable bean. And it's earthy, it's woody. It's not really meant to be certain. There are certain applications in which it would make sense. And in particular, the Cave Creek, it works because it adds body and depth, literal depth that you can feel. And that's like on the palate. That's why we really, that's what kind of changed it too. It's like, we're looking at like this, what is a deep roast? Is it not just deep because of how long it's been roasted, or is it because of like its mouthfeel, its complexity? So yeah.
We think that those two, that gorgeous Farmers Project Costa Rican combination, along with, for the flavor really, and the Papua New Guinea to kind of give that a really rounded, really deep, warm mouthfeel and finish. It's kind of why we married the two. That has got notes of orange and cinnamon with a really gorgeous finish of like cacao. So if you're a traditional dark roast fan, or if you kind of dabble in the medium kind of realm, you're going to find something to love about this.
You get that little balance of baking spice in there. It's really good.
Yeah.
It's great. And what I love, me in particular, like we've been drinking, we'll make like we're Italians now, so we're having coffee at night. What I love a dark roast at night. It's something that, it's funny. Yeah. It might happen.
And now all of a sudden this dark roast deep roast doesn't seem so, shocking anymore. It is a really gorgeous kind of after dinner coffee if you're going for, coffee as opposed to an aperitif.
Screams affogato.
Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. So if you like any of those things, or if any of that seems compelling, you're going to want to get the Cave Creek. Okay, so now that we've come to the end of this section, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scroll through and we're going to see who the winner of our name drop contest is. Okay, so I'm going to look away and I'm just going to scroll up and then I'm going to point and you're going to say who it is. Yay! Okay, so Georgie, you win. You win either a cold brew kit, the Rush Hour cold brew kit, or a 3-pack sample of our Cave Creek, our Taylor's Island, and our Bosque Bell. And I swear that was completely random. So please go ahead and let us know in the DMs at Bay Coffee Co. on Instagram what your preference would be. You are the winner, and we love you very much. Okay,
Yay!
So yay to random winners. Next, I'm going to introduce again with the backwards words. So bear with me. This is going to be the How Do You Brew contest number 2. Yay.
I love it.
So throughout the next section, feel free. I'm going to write it in here.
How do you brew?
How do you brew? Drop it under there how exactly you would brew your Bay coffee. Are you using a French press? Are you doing a pour over?
They're not
Are
backwards
you-
on the chat?
Yay! Are you doing a espresso? Are you using a drip coffee machine? Are you packing it into your Keurig? Because you're very enterprising and wonderful. However you will be brewing your Bay coffee, go ahead and drop that in the comments throughout this next section because the winner of that randomly selected will get a original Bay coffee mug. So go ahead and do that throughout the next section here, and we'll pick the winner at the end, just like we did before. So we're going to talk about actually brewing now as well, and brewing our best. As we've kind of alluded to previously, you know, some of our roasts are definitely going to perform super well as one thing, and some of them are super ubiquitous and really beautiful in all kinds of different ways. So we will go into that. Obviously, Cave Creek makes a beautiful French press. Otherwise, we would not be drinking it right now. Really, all of ours, I would say, stand up to French press and drip for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really well. I know I've had Bosque Bell as a drip coffee as well. You know, Grandma has, so shouting out to Grandma there, our brave taste tester.
She tasted the first one. Indeed.
Yes, she did. Several of my wonderful coworkers at Machine Hospitality have tasted Bosque Bell on drip, so that is all super wonderful.
Okay. Ooh, espresso. Awesome. What Jen used espresso?
Love that.
There's so many French presses out there. This is great. I love it.
Yes. So then moving into espresso, we've actually had some very wonderful souls try Cave Creek as an espresso too. That's going to be Georgie and Gio. Laura and Michael have wonderfully tried, and I believe Carol and Jeff have also given Cave Creek as an espresso a try, which is super delightful as well. Any recommendations? I'm not seeing any cold brews coming up on the right-hand side
like,
yet, but potentially that is something you might want to do. Devin, what beans would you recommend these folks use to brew their cold brew?
You know, that would kind of depend on what they wanted out of their final product.
Oh, do tell.
Okay. So,
I'm not letting you off the hook then. Easily.
you know, ultimately, I feel like cold brew, like if you really like Starbucks cold brew, and Starbucks does a really great cold brew, I think that you should pick the Cave Creek. And the Cave Creek has a lot of body, and it really translates incredibly well to cold brew. And it's like one of the things that if you use a lighter bean in a cold brew, you end up using significantly more coffee because you have to kind of compensate for this, like, you're trying to extract the flavor out of it, but you're also not having a cup of tea. And the's nothing worse than making cold tea opaque, you know, translucent thing.
Because
So-
typically what you want is a very strong flavor. That's kind of what our palates are built to expect from not only cold brew, but cold coffee in general. You know, iced coffee, you really expect it to stand up to whatever milk, whatever syrups, whatever anything are in there. And so I think that we're kind of trained to expect bolder flavors, bigger flavors. So probably not the Boscobel unless you really did want something super mellow. Also with a little bit of that citrus really
Yep.
accentuated, because again, it's got those lime notes. I'd probably say Cave Creek first, and Taylor's Island would be a really good second.
Yeah, so that was the first one that we did, and it was amazing. So
yeah.
But yeah, I definitely end up like, if again your palate is towards that sort of like that bigger, stronger, like more bold cold brew. But if you're looking for like a more nuanced one, certainly the Taylor's Island.
Wonderful. Love that. Okay, we've got lots of responses to this here. What?
Sid keeps getting kicked off.
Oh no! We see you. We hear you. We love that you've entered. We see your cold brew
We see your
mention.
cold brew.
Thank you, Sydney. Ooh, good to know.
Yeah.
Sydney says Taylor's Island is
All
the
right.
best for cold brew.
TI.
We love that. So there, we've got 2 excellent cold brew options for you then. All right, so I'm gonna turn away and scroll again.
Okay.
And ready, set. This is going to be the winner of our How Do You Brew contest to win the
Still
Bay
Georgie.
Original mug. Ready, set, and there we go. That's going to be Jane. Yay, Jane. Thank you so much for tuning in. We so appreciate you. We love how you are using French press for a smaller batch. That's the one that I landed on. And then we've got drip machine or French press. Yes, so love that. We use, we'll get into brewing and things like that. We can actually give the measurements of a French press right now. If you want to give a hot tip. So Jane, really quick, go on to Instagram or Facebook, find us at Bay Coffee Co. and go ahead and message us your shipping address so that we can get this gorgeous new mug to you to have your coffee in.
I don't know what that was.
Quick, I loved it. It was a great sound effect. We just need to get you like a little board like the radio DJs have. French press measurements, go.
56 grams to 34 ounces. There's your classic normal one.
This is a Bodum. We went over this in our first Instagram live, but this
They
is
come
the
in
one that
varying
we use.
sizes though.
They do. Don't buy the 12 ounce because then you'll have way too much coffee and not enough water, and it'll really be a punch in the mouth. So, what did you say? 34 ounces
Yep.
of water,
Yep. 56
which is what
grams.
this holds. 56 grams of coffee. All right.
Or you could weigh your water too. You can weigh your water.
You could.
Don't-
Scott Rao would be very proud
Sure,
of
yep.
whoever weighs their water. Amazing. Okay, so I'm going to write down.
A scale
Jane,
is a very important coffee piece of equipment though.
It
I
is.
have to say.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
A
But
scale
some
is
people take it
super duper
really
important.
far. And again, if they do, that's amazing. I just like want to like drink my coffee. I don't want to just like.
If you're
stare at it
also a
all the time.
pastry chef, you'll be measuring everything in grams from here on out.
So there you go. We're already wrong. Here. All right. Amazing. So then last but not least, we're on to our third of 3 contests of the evening. And apparently these aren't backwards in the chat. So we're gonna start. We're here for the merch. Contest number 3. Because honestly, whenever you go to a concert or an event or whatever, you're just looking to leave with a t-shirt, you're looking to leave with a tote bag. We get it. We're the same way. And that's why
You just want a pin. You want something.
a pin, you want something. There's so much coming down the pipeline right now in terms of merch for us. Yes, we love a good merch, but that was Bowie. She's saying hello. We love some merch, but the one that we're excited to share with you right now is a long sleeve Bay Coffee Co. t-shirt. So if you go on baycoffeeco.com, you'll see it right there. It's gorgeous, black, long sleeve. And we're excited to share that with the person who is randomly selected in the chat after they tell us what is the thing you're looking forward to most this fall or with cool weather. What's your favorite fall activity, your favorite fall beverage other than Bay Coffee or Bay Coffee. That's totally fair too. We love that.
Of course, we're out here. You know, we can make whatever.
We
too.
can do
We
anything.
can do anything.
So drop in what your favorite thing about fall is. I'm seeing some sweaters come in. We love a good long sleeve.
Indeed.
Yes, we do. So drop in your favorite cozy activity. I'm going to say here
There you
for
go.
the merch. Oops, I did not type it. go ahead and drop it under there. September Vogue. Yes, love to see it. Okay, I'm going to stop reading and stop spoiling it for myself. And you're going to win. Whoever wins is going to win that shirt. So we are going to go and move on to kind of, something related to merch, something related to, all things that we can wear and carry and show our love. We wanted to talk a little bit, I think, about the branding. Did you say?
Oh, yeah. Tell me more about why you determined this aesthetic for Bay.
Ooh,
Why
okay.
did you go in the direction you did?
Good question. So when we were first talking about Bay, when we were first talking about, if that would even be the name, it was just kind of this weird
Quarantine
random quarantine dream.
A fever dream,
that
if you
we
will.
came up with. And so, for a while it was just kind of a euphemism for the brand, and we didn't know if that was going to be the name yet, and whatever. But as it kind of started to sit with me, as an idea does, you kind of start to get attached to it. It starts to grow. It starts to feel real in a different sense than when it's just kind of living in your head and you're not bringing it into the world. And what I really saw for Bay, outside of the, the kind of unconventional color palette, we've got the pastels, we've got a nice coral, really pretty off-white that I love, and a charcoal gray. All of that is kind of typeset with my favorite font of all time, Futura. It's got, a couple handwritten elements too, which is just a big part of my personal aesthetic. And I think unconsciously, my goal was to make it not so much a coffee brand, because even though obviously it is, but make it so much more about a brand that people could apply outside of their coffee, bring it into their kitchen, have it on your counter, and it, doesn't look like a, out of place, right? Wear it under a blazer on this, long sleeve shirt or anything like that. And just something that didn't feel like it was pigeonholed into one thing. Something that felt modern, something that felt like a coffee shop that would be built in 2020 or 2021. I guess no one's really building a coffee shop right now, but something that was kind of bringing it into kind of this next phase, whatever post-COVID looks like, whatever, the restaurant industry looks like, something that would feel really modern and right at home with that. So that is a very good question. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
That is kind of you've been very kind to kind of let me run pretty wild with my visual ideas. So all the support, I appreciate.
Well, you let me run wild with all of my crazy coffee ideas. You just wait for the small batch fermented stuff when we get down the line.
We've got a lot of big ideas. We've got big plans for Bay. Hopefully, with this brand, how we've got it designed out and how we're thinking of, growing in the future. Are there coffee carts in our future? Are there obviously more merch, of course, but are there, will you be able to bring Bay into your home for a private event? Will you be able to visit a Bay coffee store? Weddings, anniversaries.
An espresso, an affogato cart at a wedding? That's
Love
a novel
to see
idea.
that. Will you be able to walk into a Bay on a street corner, maybe on Oak Street, downtown Chicago, or in Cave Creek, or in, who knows? We've got big plans for it, but the brand couldn't just stay.
I see a nice bicycle on a beachfront with a nitro cold brew
tap.
Boy, that would be nice.
Wouldn't it? We think so too. So that is that's kind of the brand.
All right, so we're gonna go through this list and
we gotta pick our favorite fall activities. Yep. Okay, ready, set?
All right, you ready?
I'm turning over.
There's a lot of great fall activities here. We have decorating the season.
I'm gonna scroll up to the top. Is that
Jeff's?
Where's the merch one?
You're here.
I'm here. Okay, I'm gonna just scroll and then you tell me when. There.
Matt,
Matt, you win. You are the winner. You win with your cool weather. That's your favorite part of fall.
Football.
We love that.
Joey dancing for sure, 100%. Yep.
That is iconic. We've also got some great other ones in here. Mary Lynn, we love Halloween. Georgie, fall is such an aesthetic. Joey, we love you dancing around pumpkins. That is a whole vibe. Decorating for the season. Hendrix and Tonic around the fire pit with Matilda. Oh, Carol and Jeff, we love you so much. Full-bodied European red wine. Ooh, Sydney, bring up a good point. Wine is a lot like coffee in the way that it can have different bodies, different feelings, different intonations and pairings. And this was actually something that Carol asked earlier in the chat as well. So maybe we can address that a little bit. I feel like we've gotten into it with the tasting notes and how diverse it is, but you know, there are so many pieces of it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but throughout the roasting process, you are really working to get specific flavors or specific textures or specific, you know, acidity versus bitterness versus whatever out of a bean at any given point within the roast, what's called the roast curve. And I feel like that level of application, not only in the technicality of it, but in the complexity of everything that you're trying to control, very much dictates the varietals you have, much like a wine. And so
and terroir for that matter, like where they're grown, like the climate in which they're grown.
A perfect representation, how the Mexican profile worked in one way and the Guatemalan roasted the same way, tasted
they're both Central American beans
differently.
But their climate and their altitudes are different, and they're very different beans, very different crops. It's just like a grape.
Yep. So,
yep.
Sydney, great point. Carol, great question. We love to see it. We are so excited. Oh, Matt, feel free to drop us your size. I forgot to mention in to Bay Coffee Co. On Instagram, and let us know what size you want so that we can get that out to you so you can rep Bay all over Chicago.
And that Lizzie will totally be borrowing that.
We love that. We love a borrowed sweatshirt or shirt. I feel like I borrow this shirt from you quite often.
We love a borrowed shirt around here too.
Me, I think more so than you.
No.
I'm a big fan. So, this has been so much fun, so delightful. Does anybody have any questions? Maybe anyone who's already purchased, if you have any questions about what you've bought, how to use it. We do have something that we didn't touch on quite up at the top, which was our Rush Hour cold brew kit. So I'll just kind of
why don't you just tell
a brief
all about
rundown of that. We talked so much about cold brew, I forgot to mention that we actually have a product that caters to that. Instead of going with like a big batch kit for, to start, obviously we're growing, but we wanted to have something that was very, that felt very DIY, user-friendly, but didn't sacrifice any quality at all.
And more personal.
Exactly.
Right.
More personal. And like, where can you just go and, have or be able to make a single serving of cold brew in the morning other than like going to a cafe and spending X amount of dollars for that? So we kind of wanted to marry the two processes together. We wanted to have something that was high quality, but something that you could do at home. So basically what the Rush Hour cold brew kit is it is 5 days worth of perfectly portioned coffee beans and filters. The starter kit comes with a glass bottle that is measured to perfection. All you have to do is pour one of the tubes of coffee beans into the filter after you grind it. Pop that in your bottle here. We've got some beans in here, but you pop that filter into the bottle, fill it up with water, and pop it in the fridge. The only thing you're going to do is take it out before you go to bed, shake it up, because the agitation process really helps what did you say it was?
It helps the coffee develop, its body develop. It really allows the fats sort of to emulsify a bit.
Just like if you were stirring like a French press, or even stirring like a larger batch of cold brew. So you're just going to shake it up a couple times before you go to bed, put it back in the fridge overnight, take it out in the morning, shake it up, and take it to go. Once you remove the filter with the beans, you have one serving size of perfectly measured coffee to enjoy that day. And then after that's done, you can come home, rinse out your bottle, and you have 4 more ready to go.
And that cold brew right away is like crazy fragrant. And, it's just, there's nothing better than fresh cold brew.
Yeah. And now you can make it yourself at home for a literal fraction of the cost of getting it single serve every day from a cafe. So love to circle back on that. Just checking. When will Bay Tea come into play? Or looking into what that would entail now.
I was menu writing today and looking at teas all afternoon. So that is a great call. I was actually, it's a conversation we haven't had yet and are going to have after this, because I have a lot to tell you about what I saw.
Ooh, I love that. Well, so tea, clearly, Georgie, fear not.
A
Tea
Pu'er
is
from
in
1999.
the works.
Oh my God, girl.
Lizzie said, I purchased. Where do you get the name Taylor's Island?
Oh, Taylor's Island is, it's an island on the eastern shore of Maryland that my mom, who recently passed this last year, she grew up in Maryland and would vacation there. She took me on her birthday in 2018, and it was a day in which the light was perfect all day. It was golden, everything was beautiful, and it felt like it hadn't been touched by time in 25 years, because it quite frankly hadn't. And there's just something incredibly special. We were there, we were enjoying coffee all afternoon, and I had made a big batch before we had left, and to me it's just symbolic of
Life's
beauty
too short for bad coffee.
and life is too short for bad coffee. So yeah, that's Taylor's Island. And it's her house that she'd stayed at was basically untouched, and it was just very interesting to see.
Beautiful. So don't ever forget that life is too short.
I'll
for
put
bad
up some
coffee.
Taylor's Island pictures for it.
Would love that.
I have a bunch of pictures from that day.
We'll share kind of all of the inspirational places, I think, with you. I think that'll be fun. So stay tuned on the Instagram. If you're not following Bay Coffee Co. already, definitely do that. And we'll kind of share our inspiration with you. I love that idea. I noticed Carol asks on behalf of Grandma, how about hot chocolate?
How about some hot chocolate?
How about that? That is a good idea. We better be careful. Grandma's going to come for our jobs here.
That's totally fine.
She's
any difference in caffeine? It's all dependent on how much coffee you use.
So the full
how much
question
caffeine
is,
you get.
any difference in caffeine in the cold brew versus the hot brew?
So no, I'm not sure. Now that you made me think about it twice, hold on. I'll have to figure that out. I'm gonna get back to you. I'm going with my initial thought, which is that it's all dependent on the total amount of coffee.
Because the caffeine actually how it gets released occurs during the roasting process. So just scientifically speaking, which is not how I speak generally ever.
But it has been for the past 6 months.
Since the caffeine element comes into play in the roasting process, my educated guess would be the same as yours, which is no. But we will answer that question definitively.
Will Bay ever have food? Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, Bay will have food.
Carol, great question. Will Bay ever have food?
It will. We're gonna pick some really simple and beautiful things to do for people. What was our number one toast?
Oh, the honey butter toast.
Oh,
that's just a little taste of the simple.
Just honey butter toast.
We're going for.
I mean, I don't know if you're.
Is she a food truck? Is she a storefront? Yes, yes, maybe. All of the above? Who can say? Is Bay going to be sold at any Chicago stores in the near future? Lizzie, we are working faster than ever on that.
Indeed.
We've got a couple of things lined up.
You're going to find us on the shelves of Carnivore Oak Park.
And that's the first one we can announce. So, yep, if you're familiar with Carnivore, we love them. We'll shout them out now. They're on Pleasant Street, corner of Pleasant Street and Marion in Oak Park. They've been friends to us forever. And
We're gonna have to make an Oak Park blend. Oh my God.
I just realized we've lived in Oak Park. This is our first out of Oak Park.
Our first apartment together was across the street from Carnivore, which would, of course,
Write that down. Oak Park blend.
Oak Park blend. Yay, Jen! Joanne.
Yes, Jen. Thank you. Okay, amazing. This is just such a great conversation that we're having now. I feel really creative and collaborative. Joey Marsek, how do I get Bay? Get your Bay at baycoffeeco.com. And that reminds me, don't forget, everybody who's here, tell your friends, tell your family, tell everybody. Use the code FRIENDS20 at checkout. You're going to get 20% off everything throughout this entire first week. That's just our way of saying thank you so much for your amazing support and all of your love. Yes, Sydney, we do love Carnivore. Oak Park blend. Oh, love you too, Jane. Thank you so much. So appreciate you. All right. Well, I think that we have very successfully virtually launched Party, actually a success. So we appreciate you so much. We love you. All the winners of tonight, I just have a couple notes here. Please don't forget, Matt, Jane, and Georgie, write us in. Let us know either your preferences, your size, and your mailing addresses to Bay Coffee Co. On Instagram. We'll get those out to you this week. We're so excited. As well, coming up, stay tuned for some weekend fun. We're going to be sending out an email with some Saturday morning coffee and yoga plans, collaborative with JNC Better Living, which is run by Carol. We're so excited about that. So stay tuned. Look out in your inbox for that. If you're not subscribing already, go to baycoffeeco.com and sign up for our coffee clutch. That's our email subscription.
Smash that subscribe button. Don't.
And
sorry, I don't know what happened. I'm sorry.
Plus, we've got some fun ideas of how to celebrate International Coffee Day, which is next Tuesday, the 29th.
Yay.
So keep everything
Hi, Marnie.
good looking out. Thank you all so much for being here. Hi, Marnie. We are so excited that you were able to join us. Again, baycoffeeco.com, at baycoffeeco on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
What?
It happened.
Really?
Yes.
That's crazy.
We're going to go have a meeting about that now. Thank you guys so much. We literally couldn't do it without you. So be well, stay well, and
Thank you
drink
all.
Bay
Love you
coffee.
all.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We love you. Bye. Yes.